Well, hey there everyone, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining me on this amazing video in which we're going to discuss something that is pretty mind-boggling to most people indeed. Allow me to introduce myself. You can call me Renee Hamilton, that's my earthly name. You can also refer to me as RXX, Power of Soul, or Star Child. And we're going to get into the reason why these different names are there and what's all going on. But allow me to introduce the subject matter of today's talk, which is pretty mind-blowing, and a lot of people will not be able to believe this. And that's a good thing, because beliefs themselves are pretty much illusions that keep us stuck into false reality. Again, we're going to go into that a little later as well. For the most part, I don't want you to believe anything I say. Just listen to what I'm saying and see if it resonates with you, and remove that which you feel is irrelevant or doesn't resonate with you or not. So pay attention to honesty and truth. Don't look at my video as in, does my video fit with your current beliefs? That's not the purpose. The purpose is for this video, for this talk, to allow you to see a different level of truth and honesty, and exactly how reality itself operates, and what your origin of your awareness, of your aliveness, what that is, where that comes from, and what's really going on. You know, we all show up here on Earth, you could say, and we all have these bodies. And along with those bodies comes feelings, sensations, smells, tastes, visions, sounds, thoughts, and all sorts of experiences of infinite variety. And these experiences can be traumatic, they can be enlightening, they can be joyful, beautiful, sad, depressing. Anything, any experience is possible. And when I say any, I really mean any. And that's where I'm going to lead in with my experience that is quite unique and reveals a lot about the true nature of reality and of humanity and of creation itself. And that creation does not end at the image of the human body. This goes beyond the image of the human body, or beyond any image, beyond any manifested appearance. So yeah, let's start with my description of reality from the heavenly worlds of which I showed up. And when I say heaven, I'm referring to something that would be likened to the source of reality, the actual source of aliveness, the source of life, the source of sounds, the source of light, the source of sensation, the source of intelligence, the source of being itself. So, as we all know, we all have different fingerprints, right? Everyone has different fingerprints, different sort of background, different upbringing. Likewise, everyone has their own way of viewing reality. Everyone has their own perception and their own unique version of reality that they're experiencing. No two people are experiencing the exact same version of Earth or the exact same frame of mind. So everyone is seeing a different version of reality based on their beliefs, upbringing, intelligence, awareness, acuteness to focusing on honesty or not. So there's different ways to look at the world. And I'm going to talk with you about the way that this saw the world and sees the world, especially from that otherworldly version of Earth that I grew up in, which I would refer to again as I would say like heaven on earth, or earth within heaven per se, because I don't think Earth is where we're living right now. We're not, from my perception, we're not on Earth. More like Earth is within us. So that's just giving you a clue as to how big and unlimited we really are. So you can say Earth itself is a sort of a experimental playground, so to speak. And that experimental playground can be viewed in infinite amount of ways, from a hellish world to a magical heaven that's beyond your highest dreams and comprehension. And it's from that realm of beauty and magic and wonder and pure truth that I emerge from. And it's not just I who emerge from that, it's we all emerge from that. However, one difference maybe is that I'm very aware and conscious of that infinite reality from which I emerge from and from which we all emerge from. And so that's the position from which I sort of entered or experienced Earth in my first 12 years. So my first 12 years of life in what you would call Earth was a magical version of Earth that was nothing short of miraculous, moment to moment. And I want to explain that to you and allow you to perhaps recall this magical world that you grew up in, and how our minds got twisted to basically not see that world, the heavenly, magical, beautiful world anymore. What happened? How did we come to be, and how did life itself change into a dark world? Or for some of you, change from a dark world into a light world. Your life is not any one way. It can be viewed in infinite ways. And so I'm going to share with you how I viewed the world and what exactly is going on here. And this is the real deal, like 12 years, full blown living in cosmic God consciousness. So I'm going to share with you the difference between what you may be experiencing now and what I experienced, and what your potential is, and what all of our potential is. So the story seemingly started in 1974 when this image came out of the womb of my mother. And from that point on, I had just a few recollections of being on Earth for the first few years. And my first recollection I can recall was being in a room with a bunch of adults, and I just recall seeing all these adults' faces there, and everyone was laughing and joking around or whatever they were doing. And I recall seeing this girl running towards me, and I recall myself running towards her. And I was tiny, like I don't know what age, perhaps 1 year old, I don't know, somewhere around there. And I just remember being filled with love, just absolute love. And the room was love, and that girl was love, and everyone there was love. And I just embraced this girl and hugged her. And there was an explosion of love. And then that was it. I didn't see anything else for a lot longer. And then I remember another time in which I was laying in bed with my mother, and suddenly she got up and left the room. And I was maybe maybe 2 years old, a year and a half, and I recall it was the first time I felt like fear, like a sort of separation. I was like, whoa, like, where did my mother go? There's a strange feeling of like bizarre emptiness. And then she came back and everything was okay again. So that was around the age of 2 years old. And so around the age of 4 years old, I recall walking across the street from my house. And across the street from my house was a school, and the school was named Holy Cross. And I walked across the street from my house to the school. And as soon as I stepped in the school yard, that was my first time of recognizing that I had a body of some sort. So even 5 minutes before me stepping into or walking to the school, I didn't realize I had a body. And as soon as I stepped onto the sort of the sidewalk there, I looked down and I saw this body, this tiny little body, and I said, whoa, like, what's that? And I looked around me and I didn't recognize the world I was in. Like, it was like the world itself looked unfamiliar. And I saw this body looked unfamiliar. And I just had a feeling that I was going to be stuck with the body or using it for a while. And so I walked into this school, and the school was literally across the street from my house, like directly. Open my front door, walk straight ahead, and I'll literally enter the school from that point. So I walked into school class, and there was all these little kids, children in there, and teachers, and I immediately felt extremely shy. I was like, whoa, who are these people? Like, what's going on here? And then something in my mind said to me, you know, you're going to be here for a while, so get used to this. And you need to get over your shyness, like right now. And so in that moment, I just said, okay, I'm going to get over the shyness right now. And I just willed it away, and I just forced myself to interact. And it was at this point that I realized my awakeness, my aliveness, my awareness was intelligent. Like, I was, I guess from now, looking back at that time, it was like I knew I was intelligent. Like, I knew I was, I guess the only word to say would be like, I felt like an adult intelligence in a child's body. Like, I was fully aware, fully intelligent, fully alive, fully watching my environment, trying to understand what was going on, just very acutely aware. And so I recognized that this world was just not my true origin in terms of the solid physical world. So in this world, let's skip to a few more years. I started to become more aware, very acutely aware of my environment, you could say, and my inner world. So the first few years of my life was like a dreamy state where I was kind of in and out of being human. And around the age of 3, 4, 5 years old is when I really sort of anchored here a little more and could sort of understand reality a little more. And so here's where the story starts to get very interesting. And the story is that there came a point where I realized that I was not a human being, as what other people were declaring themselves. The school would tell me I'm a human, my mother tell me I'm a human, the TV's telling me I'm a human, the radio's telling me I'm a human. But I didn't have an experience in the way in which these humans were talking about life. They were talking about life in ways that I was not experiencing it, and I couldn't even see or understand. You see, when I was a child, I was not an individual. I was not a human being who was an individual. Even though there may have been an appearance, like, for example, my mother gave birth to me, there's an appearance of a body there. There's an appearance of an individual there. However, within my mind, within my consciousness, within my perception, I was not an individual. I was the whole of the universe. I was all of creation, literally unlimited behind my eyes. So behind my eyes, what did I see? When I say I was living in a heavenly realm, or an ascended version of Earth, or the new Earth, or God consciousness, or cosmic consciousness, what was I seeing? What was I experiencing? What was I thinking? Was I thinking? What did the world look like? You know, these are the things I would like to know. If I'm on this path, I'm awakened, I'd like to know, like, what's the real deal from someone's direct experience. And so, let me use this really good analogy to explain the freedom that we all have and that I had, and that how things are different compared to that. So let me just start off by saying these bodies we have here, these bodies appear to be solid, and it appears as though our mind or awakeness is sort of stuck within the confines of the body, okay, stuck inside of the shape of this body. So that's how life appears to most people right now. However, when I was a child, when I looked at this body, I didn't see the body there all the time. I only saw the body here part-time. And when I say part-time, let me give you an analogy that works very well. So let's just say that you and I and a bunch of friends decide to go camping or hiking in these mountain area, a nice mountain, beautiful area, and we all decide we're going to spend a week camping. So we all bring our individual gear, each of our own tents, sleeping bags, food, you name it. And so we all go to this nice location and we find a nice open area and we sit down and build our own sleeping bags, our sleeping tents and our bags. So once we build our tents and put our bags in there, we have lots of time left over to go hiking and go exploring the countryside. So we all go exploring the countryside for a few hours and walking and laughing and joking around. And then the night's getting late, so we all go back to our tents and we all go to sleep, okay? And then we all wake up in the morning, and let's just say that I can hear everyone outside my tent, eating breakfast, getting ready, and I'm just waking up. And then I go to open my tent and I can't get out of it. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Why am I stuck in the tent? And for everything I try, I just can't get out of the tent. And I'm like, what is going on? And so in order to see out of my tent, I just have this little 4x4-inch window, like a little flap, and I can see outside there. But all I can see is this little 4x4-inch area. I can't see anything else. Okay? So here I am stuck in this tent, and I can only see things from this little 4x4-inch square point of view. So keep all this in mind right now. So the difference between being free spiritually is being able to leave that tent, okay, whenever you want, and go exploring the world, and then being able to come back to the tent and have a rest and then leave the tent again. So let's just say the tent is like your physical body. Imagine having your mind is free to explore the whole universe, And one day you open your eyes and your mind is now stuck inside of the shape of the body. It's no longer able to explore the whole universe. So just like if you were to go camping with your friends and you were stuck in the tent and you weren't able to get out, well, that's crazy, because just 12 hours earlier, you were able to explore the whole earth. You were able to walk around and you had full freedom of the whole earth. But now, you're just stuck in this one tent, and now you can only see life from that one point of view. You basically went from being unlimited to fully limited in just a split second. So that's what kind of happened to me in terms of my life. I was fully unlimited. And one day when I turned 12 years old, it ended. There was no more unlimitedness anymore. But let me tell you about this unlimitedness and what it's like and what it means and what's really going on. So basically this aliveness, this awakeness that you are is unlimited. However, it appears to be limited. It appears that you have a body and that you're stuck in the body. Okay, so imagine being able to leave your body at will. Like your mind, your imagination is able to just snap out of the body and go fly around the world, go fly to other universes, other planets, other visions of other dimensions at will. And being able to just snap your vision back and experience the body again without any sort of jarring effect. Just like a smooth transition away and a smooth transition back. So the world that I saw and experienced was made of light. And when I say light, I mean like a light, like you flying a flashlight. But the light that this world was not, I guess you can say it was a lot more light than this world. In fact, but 1,000 million times more light. In fact, I never even seen the physical, solid, hard edges or hardcore physical, solid reality until the age of 12. Before that, the world was made of light, and I'm talking magical, beautiful, unbelievable light that was just breathtaking. So the air itself would be made of trillions of sparkling, beautiful, shimmering light. And that light itself is alive. It's not a dead light. It's a living intelligence that literally is the source of all creation. So the air itself seemed to be alive and have shapes and colors and symbols and faces and all sorts of imagery popping in and out of the air, and colors and shapes and other worlds literally popping in and out of existence millions of times per second, just in the air itself, if you want to call it that. And the air is not really air, it's really an electrical spiritual life force. Okay, so there is no real air as we call it. It's really the life force of the universe is what you call the air. Okay, the air is not, it's not just some oxygen and hydrogen and different elements flung together. It's literally a life force of the universe. That's why all beings, in one form or shape or another, are ingesting this substance that you call air. Whether it be underground and underwater, in the air, humans, cats, insects, dogs, worms, you name it. This is the thing that powers what you call creation. It's an electrical life force. So this electrical life force that's unlimited, that's everywhere, it's all powerful, all knowing, this unlimited life force is pure energy. This pure energy is intelligent, just like you or I right now. And this energy shapes itself as everything that you could see. Okay? So this infinite energy in the universe is not dumb, it's not stupid. It's literally the source of the universe. And this intelligent energy is shaping itself as everything that you could see. Okay? It's shaping itself as your cell phone. It's shaping itself as your hair, as your body, as skyscrapers, as cars, as money, computers, dirt, worms, the sun, moon, aliens, spacecraft, like other worlds, like anything that could ever exist. This one energy that's intelligent is shaping itself as everything. So the world that I was seeing when I was a child appeared to be made of one substance. So meaning that everything I was looking at, my mother, my brother, my face, the walls, the ground, cars, dogs, mountains, anything you could possibly imagine, appeared, from my perception, to be made of one substance. But that one substance is unlimited, meaning that it's not just like everything looks the same, it's unlimited creativity. Just like how everyone has different fingerprints, okay? Every particle in the universe is made of its own unique appearance. And life itself is incapable of creating repetition or the sameness. Basically, every single particle of creation is 100% unique unto itself. So when I was looking at the world when I was young, the world was mind-boggling and totally amazing. So nothing was ever stationary when I was looking at the world. When I say stationary, I mean like when you see a car parked on the side of the street, or you see a giant tree rooted into the ground, or a giant building sitting there. The car's not moving when you look at it. It's just parked, it's sitting there. The skyscraper is not moving. It appears to be just sitting there in one spot. Same with the tree. The root, the big trunk of the tree appears to be sitting there in one spot. However, from my perception, nothing appeared to be stationary in my reality. Everything appeared to be flowing all over my vision. So the tree would appear to be there, and it would appear to be shape-shifting. The tree itself would appear to be shape-shifting into other things. Into, I guess you can say, the whole universe, as far as I could see, appeared to be shape-shifting into unlimited shapes right in front of me. So I could be looking at my hand, and my hand would be made of light, and this light was mind-boggling and beautiful. But the light itself had all sorts of colors that I've never seen before in this earthly world. So just trillions of new colors and new shades that I've never experienced before. And when I looked at anything at all, a wall, a piece of food, a drink, a toy, everything I was looking at was made of spiraling, spinning, magical, beautiful light. So everything appeared to be in a constant state of motion, a constant state of rapid motion. And I never saw any edges anywhere, ever, until I turned 12 years old. So when I'd be looking at someone, their face would be blending into the background, or the wall, or the ground, or whatever they're holding. Their feet would appear to be merged with the ground, or merged with whatever they're standing next to. So everything was sort of blended like a painting, like a nice Monet painting. Everything was blended together. So nothing looked separate. It looked like it was all one, but unique shapes showing up in that oneness. So it'd be like a painting, that there's no edges, it's all blended together. That's how everything appeared to be. However, in ways in which I can't even fully describe to you, I had unlimited perception. So meaning that colors, like X-ray vision, infrared vision, ultraviolet vision, all sorts of different ways to view the world, there was no limit. I could see the world frontwards, backwards, inside out. I could pause time, I could reverse time, I could forward time. I could see into other worlds infinitely in every moment. So in my mind, in every moment, there seemed to be like a grand central station. It seemed like I had thousands or millions or uncountable realities passing through my mind, to my consciousness. So when I looked at the world, I didn't see physical objects. I saw shapes of things here, what things that you would recognize, like food or cars or dogs or cats or humans. However, the humans and the cats and the dogs and the cars and the streets and the sky was made of shape-shifting images at the same time. So when I'd be looking at someone, their face and body would be shape-shifting with unbelievable, beautiful geometric shapes and colors and other worlds right inside of other people, like right as them. So I could look at someone's hand or eye or t-shirt or sweater, and I could see infinite worlds inside of them, inside of the sweater, inside of everything. So the world appeared to be more translucent to me, not solid and opaque. I could see through walls, I could see infinitely. So there's no distance, because I didn't have any limits to my mind as far as I guess time and space were different for me than others. I didn't have a sort of a solid idea of time or space or gravity. So my world appeared to be made of this liquid, living, intelligent light that is alive, and that was everything. Again, the walls are made of this, my toenails, your hair, knives, your shoes, your video games. My whole reality was made of this living, intelligent light that was communicating with me all the time. So what you would call inanimate objects, like a dresser, or like a remote control, or like a VCR or a DVD player. These things were living beings to me. And they weren't individual beings like, oh, there's an individual VCR or an individual DVD player. It's like all of life itself was alive to me. And I mean fully alive, like much more alive than what you would consider the physical dimension. So I was living in a world of infinite aliveness that was made out of me, and me is unlimited. Me is literally unlimited. That's how I was perceiving the world. So let me give you a little more insight into what that experience was like. So because I was not an individual, it was as though I was the collective of all of creation. I just had millions of images moving through my mind, and these images were not necessarily images at a distance. These were images that I was living. So for example, when I'd be walking to school from my home in that parallel version of heavenly earth, everything that I'd be walking beside, I would become that. So if I was walking past a fence to leave my yard to walk towards school, as I'm walking past the fence, I would become the fence. Like I'd feel, experience life from that position of being the fence. And as I'm walking, taking another step, I'm stepping on the grass, then I would feel what life is like to be the grass and whatever's in the grass. And I take another step, and I step on a concrete on the sidewalk, and I experience what the sidewalk is. So each step I'm taking, I'm experiencing my environment immediately in my vicinity. And I can't say how many feet away or, I don't know. But I just know that when I was walking, I was experiencing being what I was walking next to. And so, let's say I'm walking to school on the sidewalk, and there's a row of cars parked on the side of the street. As I'm walking, I would become the cars. I would feel what it's like to see the world from the point of the cars, or whatever you want to call them. But that was not just inanimate objects. That was people as well. So when I'd be hanging out with friends or playing or at school, if a friend walked next to me or anyone walked next to me, a teacher or another student, I would experience what it's like to be them. So to how they're thinking, what they're focusing on, how they're feeling. It was just right there. I was them. Like I was not an individual. So I was like I was the whole universe, seemingly experiencing life through a focal point. That focal point being the image of this body. And so life was pretty magical because life was always brand new in every single moment and full of magical wonder. I didn't have any beliefs when I was growing up, for the most part. So my mind was focused on imagination. And we're all show up here with unlimited imagination. And at some point, our mind starts to adopt different beliefs. So let me give you an example of what I mean. Is that all little children, dogs, cats, bears, tigers, all mammals here are born with unlimited imagination, or show up, I should say, with unlimited imagination. Because one doesn't have any memories to use, because they're brand new. A brand new being has no memories, right? So what are they using to navigate life? Are they using beliefs? Do they have a whole bunch of beliefs when they're born? No. They're fresh, brand new. There's no beliefs. There's no memory. So what is the child using? What is the child using to see the world or understand the world or experience the world? I'll tell you what they're using. Imagination. The child is using imagination. Okay? So everyone here was showed up with unlimited imagination. And imagination itself is never the same thing twice. It's never the same thing twice, ever. Every single moment of imagination in all of creation is always 100% brand new. A new combination of sounds, colors, shapes, sensations, smells, textures, understandings. Every moment of life is always 100% brand new. And so this newness always stays new. It always stays new, and it always stays changing and shape-shifting, unless something interrupts that newness. And so what happened is, as a child, we had this unlimited imagination, and we were able to manipulate reality with that. We were able to use our imagination to create beautiful things. We could take a little toy and we could sit there and imagine a whole world around this toy and play with this toy for the next 8 hours by using our imagination and creating a whole world around that toy or through the toy. So when we were children, a bunch of us humans here have experienced, when we're children, getting a bunch of pillows in your living room and making a fort in your living room. Get pillows, blankets, get some cushions here, there, put a little flashlight here, there, get some treats, some knickknacks, and by yourself with your friends, go hang out and play in this little fort. And that fort, for a lot of us, looked real. Like our imagination was like, whoa, check this out, look at these corners, and look at this little hiding spot here or there. It just, everything, our mind was able to manipulate reality and create whatever we wanted to see on the fly. So basically, we were able to manifest reality on the fly, whatever we wanted to see, whatever we wanted to experience. Each person was able to do that to a different degree. So manifesting something new and imagining something new is totally natural for us. It's our natural state of being. For us to be a creator, to use our mind to shape reality, is our natural state of mind. Okay, being a creator, creating something new. So what happened with this creative force we have is that we are sort of showed up here, and we have a bunch of faces, what we would call adults, and they're seemingly telling us to do things. They're saying, hey, this is who you are, this is your name, this is where you live, this is your family, this is all this information is being told to you. Your parents aren't asking you who you are they? No, they're telling you who you are. Your school isn't asking you who you are. They're telling you who you are. You're a human. You're on Earth. You're this age. You're this weight. These are the limits of humans, and humans can only do these things, and humans can't do these other things. So your definition of what you are is being told to you. It's being told to you. And if you don't memorize that definition that's told to you, you can get in trouble. You know, what if you refuse to believe or listen to what your educators are saying to you at school? Well, you're going to get in trouble by the educators, possibly by your parents, and possibly even by some law authority of some sort, depending on what you're denying, right? So we're pretty much told and forced to believe certain things, and not necessarily allowed to use our imagination to explore reality on our own, in terms of coming up with our own understanding of how the world works. See, society and your teachers and school and the radio and TV and your parents may not let you decide what reality is. They may just tell you, and if you don't agree with them, then you're in for a hard time, right? So your teachers, school, this world itself somehow starts to impose stories of repetition into your mind. This is your age, this is your height, this is your weight, this is where you live, this is where you go to school, this is your parents, this is your friends, this is your brother, this is your sister. All these absolutes, all these stories that are supposedly absolutes are being force-fed to you, and they're very repetitious, right? Like every day you're saying your name, every day you are repeating the same phrases. And you go to school and they say, you gotta memorize this, and this is 1 + 1, and this is 2 + 2, and all these facts about life, or these supposed stories about history and how the world works. And you see this picture, this is a bird, and this is a cow, and this is an orange, and this is a banana. So all this information is being forced into your mind, and it's very repetitious information. Repetitious. So when your mind is in repeating mode, or you're memorizing things, then you're not creating anymore. Now you're just like taking prepackaged imagination and just repeating it over and over again. If someone tells you that there's 7 billion people on Earth, and they just say it to you once, well then you'll probably never hear that ever again, because you just heard it once. So there's no need to recall or memorize that information, because it was just said once. That was it. But if that information is told to you 30 times a day for the next 40 years, that there's 7 billion people on Earth, well, now your mind is focusing on the same story, same idea, same concept for decades. So that's just one belief, okay? One belief is showing up in your vision all day long, every day for decades. But most people have hundreds or thousands of beliefs that are repeating in their mind all day long. 60 to 90,000 thoughts per day are going through the average person's mind. And 95 to 99% of those thoughts are the same thoughts and ideas they had the day before. So one's reality, if they're using beliefs, is a very repetitious reality. It's very boring because there's nothing new happening, and everything looks the same every day, every moment. Everything feels the same, looks the same, tastes the same, smells the same. It's just a world of sameness, a world of boring sameness, because our beliefs never say anything new. So before you had beliefs, your mind was unlimited. There was no gravity, there was no time, space. Pretty much physical matter, as you call it, was like liquid or like water. So your mind in an instant can just say, I want to see this, or I want to see that. Boom. Instantaneously show up. Instantaneously, because your imagination would make it show up. You see, your imagination is unlimited. It's unlimited. No limit. It's just unlimited. But your beliefs are limited. Okay? So, limited beliefs, unlimited imagination. They're two different worlds. One's limited and one there's no limit. Okay? Limited beliefs, imagination, no limit. So before you had beliefs, you had unlimitedness. You didn't even have an identity. When I mean identity, let me clarify that. An identity is when you attach your aliveness to some sort of form or idea. Okay, so your aliveness, this aliveness that I am. And then you can look at a picture, a body, and say, well, that's my body. That's my aliveness is that shape. Okay, now we're identifying our being with a shape. Well, every time I see that shape, that means it's me. Okay, so that's an identity. There's also an identity to beliefs or ideas. So there's identity to form, to an actual shape, but there's also identity to beliefs or opinions. Like I can say, I've been studying drivers around the world, and I find that people in Denmark are the best drivers in the world, and I believe that. Okay? So that's a belief that's not necessarily based around form per se. It's more based on a concept or an idea. And we can also identify with that. We can get into an argument with someone who believes that people in China are the best drivers, or people from Brazil are the best drivers. And we can get into an argument. I can say, hey, people from Denmark are the best drivers. This guy could say, no, people from Brazil are the best drivers. And we can battle over who allegedly is the best driver. However, these beliefs here, you recognize that beliefs themselves don't change. They don't want to change. So when we take on a belief, we typically don't let it go. We typically hold it and keep it there and never change it, never modify it, because the belief itself wants to keep itself alive. The belief doesn't care about change. A belief can't even see change, because the only thing a belief can do is repeat itself over and over and over again. So the function of a belief is the exact same function as a computer program. And that function of a belief is to repeat reality over and over and over and over and over again, never showing you anything new. So when I was a child, I didn't have any beliefs. So reality was full-blown newness at all times. And I didn't have an identity. So my mind was focused on brand new imagination at all times, rather than some memory or belief of what I am or what I look like. Okay, so my mind was free to explore all the universe fully with no limits at all, 100%. And that means that there was no limits to what I could see, taste, touch, feel, smell in any direction. I could see things that were in other worlds, thousands of miles away. I could smell colors. I could see thoughts, smell images, like no limits to perception. Take all of your senses and blend them all together, and then mix it up and shake it up. So in every moment, your senses are showing you a completely new reality, a completely different reality than the moment before. I don't just mean like a human being walking around and seeing new things on the same earth. I'm talking like my reality of dimensions, of worlds, of experience was literally changing moment to moment. So there was no solid reality. There was no earth. There was no anything in particular. There was just an ocean of everything, and I could be everything or be nothing or experience it in any way I wanted. And I was not an individual, so I was not having an individual experience. All these images and sensations were of the collective. So let me tell you what's going on, is that all experiences in the world by every single being in all dimensions, in all of creation, all experiences can be experienced by you. All experiences. And I'm not just talking about human beings. I'm talking about what you call animals, insects, trees, birds, water, sun, light, sound, music, other dimensions, other worlds without time, other worlds without space, other worlds of nothingness, other worlds of everythingness, other worlds of separation, other worlds of unity, just literally unlimitedness. Right now, you have access to everything. Every single experience ever had by anyone at any given time, you have access to all of them. 100%. Doesn't matter what it is. Someone becoming enlightened, the world exploding into beauty, someone being murdered, someone winning the lottery, someone giving birth, someone going to the bathroom in a back alley. Every single experience you have access to right now. You are not an individual and you're not a human being. That is a story told to you to limit your experience of what you truly are, to basically denature you. Okay, let me tell you what nature is. Nature is I guess I can't use the word nature in the definition of nature. So, nature is the original blueprint for life itself, uninhibited, uninterrupted. Okay, nature is the original blueprint for life itself that's been uncorrupted, uninhibited, unlimited. Okay, so that's what nature is. It's the constant flow of the foundation of truth that creates reality. So in that state of being in nature per se, in your natural state. In your natural state, you are at one with all of creation, okay, like the heavenly worlds of magic. That's our natural state. So if you're not experiencing that, then you've most likely been denatured. Denatured would be to distract you from the truth. Let's just say that a really good analogy I use all the time is that, let's just say that you were an eagle and you fly all around, that's what you are. You are an eagle. An eagle can fly all around, 10 miles in the air and just total freedom. But let's just say that you were given birth to, and your mother, the eagle's a mother, and she basically passed away when you were giving birth, and you were given birth to on a nest, and that nest was on the ground for whatever reason. And so as this eagle, this newborn eagle, you pop out of the nest and you're sort of walking around, and you come across a turtle, and this turtle's like, "Hey, look at you," and you're like, "Hey," and this turtle says, "Hey, who are you? What are you? What are you doing here?" And you say, "Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going on." And the turtle says, "Well, come with me. You're one of us now." And so this eagle starts following this turtle and basically living with this turtle, like eating what the turtle eats, going around the turtle goes, never realizing that the eagle itself has the ability to fly, and its true nature is not to be dwelling on the ground, scrimmaging for food, but to be flying through the air and exploring the world and seeing the magic of the universe. So this eagle now thinks it's a turtle and has never even tried to fly, even once. So that's similar to the situation with us, is that like the eagle is not able to live up to its true potential by believing it's something that it's not. The eagle thinks it's a turtle, so it's believing something that it's not. It's believing something wrong. And when you believe something wrong, when it's your identity, if you have an identity that's wrong, or the false identity, that's called the ego. The ego is what you're not, okay? Most people think ego is an attitude of being obnoxious or being rude or being loud. It's not. The ego is when you identify with something that's not true. Okay? So your true potential is beyond comprehension. You were told you're a human being, just like the ego was told it was a turtle. But that is incorrect, and 1,000,000,000% incorrect. You're not a human being. You're like the eagle. You're literally unlimited. Literally unlimited. Like right now. I know you don't see it, feel it, taste it, whatever. We're going to get into that, into how to bridge the gap between that limitation that you may feel that you are and this unlimited magical world of wonder that is just mind-boggling, waiting for you to discover that right now. So this awakeness, this aliveness that I am, that you are right now, is literally the source of life. We've been taught to perceive reality in a way that is the opposite of the truth. And I don't mean by accident either. It's intentionally done for us to experience life and see the difference between what is real and unreal. So there's basically a world of truth right now, and there's a world of illusion right now. And depending on how you depending on how much you value honesty and truth will depend on what world you see and you're experiencing in this exact moment. In addition to how much you value truth, it's also in addition to how much you value truth, it's the ability for you to use your imagination and to understand what your imagination is that determines what you experience in the next moment. For you'd have a small viewpoint in the world versus a large viewpoint in the world makes all the difference. So those people who use beliefs to look at the world will see the world very small and limited and boring and stressful and scary, because there's all sorts of limits within your mind that are controlling what you can see, taste, trust, and experience. So beliefs place limits on your reality, whereas imagination expands your reality. So that world of imagination is where I come from, and the beauty and magic is beyond comprehension. Basically, anything you want to know or understand is given to you into your consciousness immediately, full-blown understanding. So there's a total awareness of what you are at any given moment. And that comes with that comes a great sense of well-being and peace and security. In fact, I didn't even conceive of the idea of death until the moment I turned into a human at the age of 12 years old. There was simply no concept of that in my reality beforehand, because all I could see was unlimited life in every direction. Everything was made out of life, and everything was made out of unlimited light and magical truth. In every direction I looked, no matter what I was looking at, it was made out of me. Whether I was looking at my mother, my brother, the walls, my school, my textbooks, a toboggan, a bicycle, everything was made out of me, out of this magical, infinite substance. Everything smelled amazing, tasted amazing. I was love itself. And love is not something that I had or came and went. It was my essence. It was actually my being. It was love. Okay, so in this earthly, solid earth realm here, love is something that we experience. Like, I'm a human and I fell in love with someone, but that's not how it works in the heavenly worlds. Love is what you are, and it's everywhere, and it's everything. And depending on how we choose to look at the world, that's how we'll see it. I'm going to cut this video a little short now because we've been talking a long time, but we're going to go deeper and deeper into all this. If you'd like to reach me for a personal life coaching session or a cosmic awakening session, please do reach me. I'm also an inventor. I invented quite a bit of interdimensional quantum devices, artwork, pendants, and many different devices that help your wellness and help you move beyond repetition, beyond the illusion of the body into magical states of being. So these are interdimensional devices I've made, and they've been available for many, many years, and many people around the world have experienced this, and I'd love to share it with you. So you can please reach me at my website at innersoultech.com. That's INNERSOULTECH.com, innersoultech.com. And you can reach me on YouTube, youtube.com/innersoultech. And also on Facebook, Renee Hamilton. That's RENEHAMILTON. And then you'll see my nickname, Star Child, on Facebook next to me. So I'd love to chat with you more. There's just so much more to get out. I have to cut the videos short due to my battery time, but lots more videos coming, and I'd love for you to join me, and I'd love to chat with you. So please go to my website and you can give me a call. Call me up, let's chat. I'm all open to chat to you. You can dig through my brain and find out everything that's going on in there. So with that being said, thank you so much for taking time to watch this video, and I look forward to chatting to you more. And we're in for a magical, wonderful surprise, because there's a new earth here that's always been here, that's being revealed right now, and the doorway to infinity is open. And I really mean that. So love you all, and you take care, and we'll chat soon. Renee, RXX Star Child Power Soul, out. Peace.